There is a sickness spreading through the reading community, an epidemic, if you will. And the symptom is this uncontrollable urge to devour as many books as humanly possible each month. And if you don't beat last month's reading stats, you are not a real reader. You're a failure as a human being, in fact. And if left untreated, this sickness will destroy your love of literature. So, the cure. But have no fear, I am here with the cure. I will cure all your ailments right now. Dr. Sky in the building. So today I bring to you creative reading challenges that are not based on numbers. Because having goals is good and challenging yourself is good. But the goal here is to read better, to read deeper, to really interact with the book. Enough building up. Come on, let's get into it. So let's talk about syntopic reading. And this is connecting the dots between books. Syntopic reading is reading a number of books, or more than one book, on the same subject matter or the same topic, and comparing and contrasting the ideas and the arguments and the themes and the vocabulary and the language, just everything really that you feel compelled to compare and contrast. I'm not gonna lie, this type of reading requires hard work. You know, it's a type of reading where you're gonna wanna have your notebook and you're gonna wanna be taking notes. And yeah, it means taking your time with the books that you're reading. And it's also a more intentional way of reading. If you're not sure where to start, you can just start in this very simple way of reading books that are in conversation with each other. So for example, My Dark Vanessa is a book that's in conversation with Lolita. It's very much a book that is in response to Lolita. Another example is The Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. This book is in dialogue with A Migration to the North by Sally. Another example, Camilla and Dracula. You can even go a little bit more vague. You've got Mrs. Dalloway, which is written by Virginia Woolf, which is written over the course of 24 hours, as in, she didn't write it in 24 hours, although she's such a literary genius that she probably could have. But the story is told over 24 hours. And then you have a very different kind of book, Ulysses by James Joyce, is also told over 24 hours. And this type of reading can also be done after the facts. So let's say you've read a few books this month, and you can look back and be like, okay, was there any like kind of accidental ties to these books? What things did they have in common? And this forces you, well, encourages you to be more cognizant as you're reading of themes, of literary devices. Okay, next. Psychoanalyze the main characters. Listen, there's nothing I love more than psychoanalyzing people. But I found that people don't generally like being diagnosed with personality disorders and mental illnesses, like in your real life. So I've had to take this passion and put it into reading. And I advise you should too. You know, like, let's just pick a random book, right? Let's just pick a random book. Oh, look at this. The Great Gatsby. You know, so read The Great Gatsby and diagnose Jay Gatsby. Like, what's his deal? Is he a narcissist? Does he have BPD? Is it just depression? Nostalgia is a form of depression, and there's no one more nostalgic than Jay Gatsby. You know, so if you're like me, bit of an armchair psychiatrist, it's just a kind of a fun way to analyze the characters in the books that you're reading, just on a more deeper level. Okay, this one, a fella called Ray Bradbury, you may have heard of him, came up with this one. This is the Ray Bradbury Reading Challenge, and I'm just gonna read it in his own words because he's the one who came up with it. I'll give you a program to follow every night, a very simple program. 1 poem a night, 1 short story a night, 1 essay a night for the next 1,000 nights. From various fields, archaeology, zoology, biology, all the great philosophers of time, comparing them. But that means that every night then, before you go to bed, you're stuffing your head with 1 poem, 1 short story, 1 essay. At the end of the 1,000 nights, by golly, you'll be full of stuff, won't you? You certainly will. I don't know, like 1,000 seems like such a big number. Like not 30 days, not like a year, no, 1,000 nights. So yeah, basically 1 poem, 1 short story, 1 essay. And yeah, I think an important thing to note is, you know, from various fields. So don't just get like stuck in a rut just reading one type of short stories, one type of essays, one type of poem. You know, make sure you're reading wide and deep. That's kind of that's my whole motto. That is what I want to achieve with my reading journey, which will hopefully last my whole life, is just to read wide and deep. And that's why I'm just really done with just like nom 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 nom, like gobbling up books just for the sake of it, just to reach arbitrary numbers. The next reading challenge is a bit of an obvious one, but maybe it's one that people don't really do a lot. People talk about it, but that is read outside your comfort zone. So, you know, I think we get stuck in kind of ruts with our reading. I definitely got stuck in a literary fiction rut for a while, and I just wasn't reading outside of my comfort zone. And yeah, so if you're used to literary fiction, when you read a genre fiction like horror or thriller or romance, it can be a bit difficult because the format can be really different, you know, the way these books are written. But like, you never know, you might find your new favorite type of genre, and how beautiful would that be? I mean, when I started reading, I thought there's no way I'm gonna read classics. Like, absolutely not. Those are way outside of my comfort zone. And now they're pretty much one of my favorite genres. You know, like, if you need to like Google list of literary genres, and there's more than you think. Western. When was the last time you read a Western? Do you want to go through your whole life never reading a Western? What type of life is that? I've never read a Western, so I'm gonna get on that. This one is the DNF challenge. So if you don't know, DNF means did not finish. And basically, you're gonna go back to the books that you DNF'd and read them. And I'm not talking about the books that you just started and you didn't like, but these are books that just, life got in the way, you know, or for just no particular reason, you left it too long, you got distracted by something else. I have the perfect example of that for me. Is Flowers in the Attic. I started reading this back in like 2017 when I wasn't really that big into reading, and my housemate had it, and I had for some reason wanted to read it, so she gave it to me. I think she lent it to me. This is about, you know, those kids in the attic. And I was really enjoying it. Let's see if I put no, there's no bookmark there or anything. So I'm absolutely gonna get back to this. Okay, next. Become obsessed with an author. So basically, do an author study. Read all of the books by one author. So you're gonna pick an author, you know, probably one that you kind of know that you like their books, and just become obsessed. I'm encouraging you to be like me, obsessive, and just read all of their books. But don't just read all of their books. Like, research what was going on for them at that time if you can, preferably in chronological order. I'm sort of working my way through all the F. Scott Fitzgerald books, but I think I've messed up the order already. I kind of want to do it with Virginia Woolf as well, Edith Wharton. So yeah, but it doesn't have to be a classic author. It could be Stephen King. That's a project for you. Get to work on that one. So there you have it, guys. I don't remember how many challenges there were, but there's some challenges on how to read deeper. Basically, if there's one message to take away from this video, that is quality over quantity. Usually Willow is in the background of my videos, but since I changed my setup, you still get to see her. There she is. There she is.